Hey guys, welcome to TST Garage. I'm Bart. In this episode, I have a KLX 300 with me in the shop. This is a 2024 and up model. It still has the OEM levers on it. They are nice and simple. Most people won't have a problem with them. Me, I do like the adjustability of aftermarket levers, and boom, we have the Evos levers from Womet-Tech here. They are co-branded with also the TST brand on them. We are the only distributor in the North American region that has these parts. So I am here to show you how to install these on the bike. These are beautifully machined out of 6061 aluminum. They are black anodized on the fulcrum and the body. The adjusters come red by default in the kits that we sell assembled. If you prefer a different color, we do sell the adjusters at a small upcharge. You can choose a different color. We also have a different video showing you how to change this on the levers that you bought. Each set of levers comes with left and right clutch and brake lever. They are fairly easy to install. I'm going to start on the clutch side here. First step will be to peel back on the boot here and unlock the adjuster. Once the adjuster is unlocked, we'll make sure that we take any tension we can off the cable and then align the pass-through slot so we can get the cable out. And on this particular bike, the cable itself is very tight, hasn't stretched yet. It's a brand new bike. So we're gonna leave it in the loosest position, and then we're gonna get into the lever itself. Once we extract the lever, we'll be able to get the cable out. Now for the lever here, we have a 10mm screw head on top, 10mm nut on the bottom. I've been successful at just getting these out with an impact in reverse and just spins it right out. If you don't have access to an impact wrench, I'm going to show you how to get this done. We'll need a 5mm Allen to unlock the perch, move it, rotate it upward so that we can get access to here with an open-ended wrench. I do not have a socket that is thin-walled enough to actually get the socket onto the nut itself here. We have interference from the clutch switch. I don't believe that there are thin enough wall sockets in existence to get around this, so this will be the proper procedure here. I'm going to use a marker to mark where this perch is located, so I have a very easy time in returning it to the same location without guesswork. Grab my 5mm Allen. The perch itself on the rider side has 2 screws. If we loosen them, the perch unlocks and it becomes movable. Rotate it upwards carefully, making sure to not strain any of the cabling. Now we have access to this nut here. I'm going to grab an open-ended wrench and get it around the nut and unlock it. Once this guy's unlocked, I'm going to switch to my ratchet with a 10mm socket on top, and now I'm going to loosen the pivot bolt. Once the pivot bolt starts moving, I'm going to hold my lock nut on the bottom and then go ahead and spin the entire pivot bolt out. It'll release the nut first. Once the pivot bolt is out of its threaded portion on the bottom, it'll just be able to be taken out like so. Now we're able to get the lever out. Just have to be careful around the switch button. Careful not to alter it in any way or strain it. Get our cable out. Remove the cable pull from the lever. Now this whole perch gets floppy, so I'm just gonna tighten it down just a little bit for the duration of our manipulation here. We've taken out this clutch lever, and before installation of the new one, what I'd like to do is clean off the pivot bolt. Technically, this is a brand new bike, so it's not gonna have a bunch of grime in it, but I like to clean off the grease, replace the grease with new grease, so I know I will have good lasting lubrication in that pivot area. Also like to get the contact faces of the actual lever lubricated a little bit. If you're working on an older bike, it's a good idea to clean off the perch area as well. This one's fairly clean. All right, now we go in the reverse order of disassembly. I'm gonna get my cable pull into the lever, get my cable through the adjuster, and now it's back in position here. Have to be extra careful to not damage the actual switch button. So what I like to do is press it down with my finger, then get my clutch into the perch, aligned with this pivot bolt hole. Get our pivot bolt through and start threading it up. All right, as the thread starts to penetrate through, I like to get the nut back on there. Now I'll hold the nut from the bottom as the pivot goes through. As I tighten this down, I have to make sure that I'm not impeding the rotation action of that lever. I've tightened it down all the way. I've not impeded that action, so we're good to lock down on the lock nut. Once the lock nut pressurizes against its mating surface, this is good to go. We can get the perch back into position. I've left myself a mark of where that goes. Tighten this down. All right, now it's a matter of adjusting the cable. I do have a lot of slop here, but let's see how we're doing on full lock. So full lock right, we still have some slack. Full lock left, we still have some slack. So we could actually stand to adjust this tighter by just a little bit. It's gonna be a little too tight. I'm gonna back off. I have some slack here, some slack here, some slack here. All right, great. That is done. I'm gonna lock down on the adjuster. And now we can stretch this boot back over. Great, this is pretty much done. Installation-wise, now you have 6 levels of distance that you could pick from the lever to the bar. Very short for small hands, very long for larger hands. I have really big mitts, so I always use it on 6. Choice is yours. Feel out what's best for you, and I bet you'll find a level that works really well. Now these are shorter than the OEM set. As you can see, they are about 1 inch or 25 millimeters shorter. This means if you do go down, it'll be less likely that you'll bust off the end of your lever or possibly bend the whole lever. I've used these in racing environments over the years, and they really work great. So this is good to go. I'm gonna hop on over to the brake side. I believe the brake side is gonna be a little bit easier. We have better access. We can actually perform the entire disassembly and reassembly using a socket. bolts out, levers out. Grab our beautiful new Womet-Tech lever. Get some grease packed in there. Cover our mating surfaces. I'm gonna clean off the pivot bolt and re-grease it like I did on the left side. And now I will reassemble in here. Just have to be mindful of all the contact surfaces, making sure not to shear off the switch button. Align it with the pivot bolt hole, and nice and simple. Once again, tighten it down, test, make sure you didn't impede the rotating action there. I'm going to replace the locking nut from the bottom. Tighten that down. And at this point, you'd go through the adjustment process. Like I said, for myself, longest setting is best. I will now just go over the entire area, make sure that I didn't leave any grease hanging out. Any excessive grease will catch sand, grime, dust, and things like that, and will accumulate. All right, we're looking good here. This job is done. As you can see, in a couple minutes, we went from these boring and non-adjustable levers to these beautiful Womet-Tech Evos levers. They feel great. They have a slightly different feel to them. They feel more positive. Yeah, I like it. This has my stamp of approval. All right, if you like what you see here, check out TSTindustries.com. We have these parts ready for sale, ready to ship to you. We also have other parts you may need for any other bikes that you may have in your stable. So check us out, TSTindustries.com. See you later.